On this episode of Odessa After Dark, Kaylee Sims will interview Karan Ashley, who starred as the Yellow Power Ranger in 1994 and 95 in the #1 children's show The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And then Jennifer McNally will interview author Mario Zombrano.
Hi, I'm Kaylee Sims with Odessa After Dark, and today we will be interviewing Karan Ashley, the lovely Yellow Power Ranger.
Yay!
Fangirling!
Hello, Odessa After Dark.
We have several questions to ask you that we're really curious on.
Okay.
Our first one, just on the hush-hush.
Yeah.
When you left, did you take something with you?
I did not. I should have. If I could do it all over again, I would have stolen everything. But I was too honest, and I didn't know everybody else was stealing stuff. That's what makes me mad, because people have things, and I'm the only one who doesn't. So I don't have anything. But I have wonderful fans who've made me replicas and amazing things. So I've got a ton of stuff now.
Awesome. We were just curious. We're like, there's some that do.
Were
you one of those?
I wasn't. I should have been.
Well, it's good for being honest, though.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's overrated, but it's okay.
Being back in Odessa,
yes.
Has it changed for you? Do you still feel at home when you drive in?
I do. I mean, obviously the city has changed drastically, but I do. It has that certain, that certain quality that just Odessa doesn't really change that much. But I do love the fact that there are so many people that live here now, and it's like booming, and it's amazing to see the city just growing. So I'm excited to see what happens in the next 10 years. It better not change too much.
I think in the next 10 years, Odessa and Midland will be combined.
I know, it's just going to grow together, right? Yeah, I agree.
Now, my next question is, how did a girl from Odessa just make it to the Power Rangers? How did you do that?
Well, I had dreams of being an actress, and I moved from Odessa to Dallas when I was 6, but that's all I ever wanted to be. I didn't care if I was singing, dancing, modeling. I didn't care what I was doing. I just wanted to be on TV. And I actually went to an open call audition, and there were literally 10,000 people there. And they had searched Dallas, Orlando, Los Angeles, Atlanta, and New York for the 3 new Rangers. And I went to the open call. I auditioned. A couple days later, they flew me to LA, and literally in 4 days, I was a Power Ranger.
That is amazing.
I know. It was pretty awesome.
Dream come true?
Dream come true. Yeah. I didn't know I'd be a superhero, but it worked out.
Well, you're a famous superhero.
Yes.
My next question.
Yes.
What are the current projects that you're working on? I see Uncensored Radio is one that I saw.
I do an online radio show called Uncensored Radio, and I've actually morphed that into Uncensored Talk. So you can actually go to myuncensoredradio.com, and you can see my new show. It's a web series where I've actually, going from con to con, I was like, why are people not talking to all these amazing people that are here? And I started interviewing them, and I've got, interviews with Power Rangers. I've got interviews with Nichelle Nichols from Star Trek. I've got, it's like legends, and I got so many new shows coming out, but we're up to episode 5, and by next year we probably will be, we'll probably get 20 done, but I try to, like every other city, have my crew come out, and we just do it, and it's totally a labor of love. We don't have a budget, we don't have anybody, I kind of self-pay for everything, Odessa After Dark, same thing, and you just do it because you love it, and you do it because the fans really respond to it, so.
Nice. What is the next Comic-Con that you will be going to?
You know what? The 2015. I'm actually off for December, so I've got the month off. I've done 20 cons in a matter of about 6 months, so I'm crazy tired. But I will be hitting Florida. I'll be hitting New York. I'll be hitting the UK again, and we're just gonna go all around the United States and all around the country, promoting Power Rangers.
My next question for you is, how can we as the fans follow you?
Oh, well, you can find me on Facebook and on Instagram at official Karan Ashley, and you can find me on Twitter at Karan Ashley. Very easy. I'm there. A lot of other fake profiles, but you'll know the one that's mine.
My last question.
Yes.
This is a girly question.
Yes.
Where did you get your shoes?
Oh, my shoes.
Yes.
You know what? I got them at Dillard's.
Really?
I got them at Dillard's. Yes.
I was watching.
Hometown girl.
I was waiting in line. And I was like, man, those shoes are cute.
Oh, thank you. I know I have to wear. I'm like super short, and usually like all the fans have like obviously grown much taller than me, and so I'm like looking up at them. So now I wear tall shoes to kind of just hang.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good fashion choice. I like your fashion style.
Thank you.
Yay. Well, thank you for letting us interview you today.
Yeah, thank you.
Yay. This is Odessa After Dark with Karan, Ashley, and we'll see y'all next time.
Bye.
Hi, I'm Jennifer McNeely here with Mario Zombrano, author of Lotteria. So Mario, have you been to this area before?
Never.
Never?
I was born in Houston, grew up in Houston, left when I was 16, and I've never been to the west part of Texas. And I have to say, you have a lot of oil wells.
That we do, that we do. Well, besides all the oil, what you think about the place?
You know, it's growing on me. When I landed, it's the first thing I saw, it's flat. And we were driving from the airport to the hotel. And in Houston, you know, once you get outside of the city limits, you start to see cows and horses and goats. But I didn't see any animals. I only saw oil wells kind of drilling away. In one view, I could see about 10, and I thought, wow, I didn't realize it was such a place for oil. It was like a hot spot. And then I had dinner at the Hispanic Cultural Center, which was really lovely. It's really close to the college, and they've been renovating it in the last 5 years. And I had a really lovely dinner there with the president and the organizer who's there. So yeah, it's really nice. And today was the book festival. Went to this brand new library, which I already forgot the name of. Do you know the name of it? Okay. So there's this really new library that has really modern technology all inside of the library, down the aisles. And yeah, I just read there. It was great.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, now, have you gotten a chance to talk to any of the other authors while you've been here?
No, I've been so antisocial. I'm an introvert.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't want to meet anyone. No, I'm kidding.
I was like, okay, I have nowhere to go from that.
No, there was dinner last night that I didn't go to because of the Hispanic Cultural Center, and there was also a tour this morning from 9 to 12 for all of the authors that I did not attend because I have a deadline for this one thing that I need to write. So I worked this morning, and then I took a swim, and then I came here. But I'm going to tonight's event at this old theater,
Yucca.
And there's a literary deathmatch event, and those are really fun. I've been to one before, and I imagine everyone's going to be there, all the other authors, and so
Very cool.
Planning on mingling tonight.
Okay, so you're kind of a newcomer to the literary scene. How have you been settling in, so to speak? I mean, meeting people, talking to people.
It's been a learning experience, definitely. I think new writers, I was a dancer for a long time, then I went back to school, and there's popular MFA in creative writing across the country, and I think the energy or the conversations you're having in grad school are mostly around getting published and getting your book out. But we only get that far. We never talk about what are you going to do the year after your book comes out, or the 2 years after. We just think of the event of getting published. And luckily, I had a really great story. It was, HarperCollins picked it up. They did a really wonderful job. They backed it up. They had a great publicity and marketing team. And it was kind of surreal that entire year. And I'm not saying I'm not still enjoying it, but it's also the year after that I'm in now. And there's a moment where it comes to the surface, a book, and you get the reviews, and you do the book tours, and you do the festivals, but as time passes, more books keep coming out, and so it's like a wave. It crashes, and then the tide goes out, and you have to write another book.
So
I'm like, oh no, that wasn't going to be it. So I'm really happy about how it has been received, but now I've returned to the day-to-day struggles of being a writer and trying to make something from the material I have in front of me with the new book that I'm working on. And and some days are great and some days are not so great because I'm so critical, but to myself.
No, you're referring to, I saw on your Facebook page that you had talked about the manuscript you recently finished in Scotland.
Yes.
Is that the one you're talking about working on right now?
Yes.
Well, do you mind sharing a little bit about that with us?
No, I don't mind at all. So in September, there's a writing residency outside of Edinburgh. It's really beautiful, actually. It's a castle. It's a 17th century castle.
Oh, wow.
And it's a writing retreat, sort of, writer's retreat. And 6 writers are there at a time, and you go. There's no Wi-Fi. There's no phone reception, which takes about a week to get used to. But luckily, I was able to finish a full manuscript of this new book that I'm working on, which is about a dancer in Paris in 1968 who gets into an accident and loses his memory and forgets that he was ever a dancer. Yeah, so working on that.
Oh, so that sounds like, with your dancing background, that's something that's very much in your wheelhouse as far as, something near and dear to you.
Yeah. Yeah, or when I wrote Loteria, it seems like I went to the deepest part of, my experience as a person. So I went to my family, I went to my Mexican roots, and now it seems like the second layer around that is my dance career, which was something I loved, and I still love, but it was a very big chapter in my life that sort of ended very abruptly, and I chose to leave. There was no injury or anything like that. I just didn't want to work anymore. The dream was over. You got into the company, you toured, you worked for the choreographers you wanted to work for, and then it became a tedious job of being told what to do all the time. And so I left, and that was really, an emotional and traumatic kind of experience that now, with time, having about 10 years ago, 10 years have passed, I'm returning to it and trying to create fiction out of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thought did occur to me with Loteria that does it kind of coincide with your coming to terms with dealing with all of this stuff? You have a main character who is, in a very tumultuous time. Is there a little bit of yourself in the character of Luce?
Yes, absolutely. On a very general level, my family, every Sunday would go to my grandmother's house, go to church together, and then return to her house, have a big feast for lunch, and then play Loteria for 3 hours. And it was really lovely. I have these memories, and it's in the book, of we would get all the tables and push them together, and my uncles would be there, my cousins would be there, and my grandmother would sit at the end. She was like the queen of course she was the queen. And I just remember being a kid, and all of us were really excited. It wasn't a tedious, boring game. Sometimes you get together with a family, like, who wants to play Monopoly? Some people want to play, some people don't want to play, but it's just not the moment everyone's really wants to play. But I have memories of everyone being completely engaged in the game and enjoying it, and turning my head and seeing my grandmother at the end of the table. And so I think that's one of Luce's memories as well. And so in that way, and also the Mexican identity with the American identity, and struggling between the two and trying to decipher whether you're one or the other, but then in the end realizing you're both, was something that I share with Luce.
Yeah.